Okay, so in this one we're going to be talking about adding of exponents. So when you have a number raised to a power, or exponentials, my mistake. So in normal adding, let's say we have two numbers. Let's say we have, I'll write it down here because I don't think the camera can pick it up. It's over here. So let's say we had, let's say we had some number 3 plus 5. So in this case, we can just add them normally. We know what 3 plus 5 is. That's 8. But when we have exponents, they have their own kind of little rules for adding. And we're going to go over those rules, but there's, you just have to know that. It's like when you're adding normal numbers, you can add them to get the next number. But when you're adding exponents, you can't just simply look at it and then know what the answer is. So let's say I give you an example here. Let's say I said 2 to the power of 2 plus 3 to the power of 2. Now just looking at it, you can't necessarily just say, oh, I know what that answer is. It's that. You have to kind of, for smaller powers you might be able to, but for larger powers, good luck. So how would you do this one? You would say, one way you could do it is first write out what the answers would be, so simplify them, and then add the numbers together. What do I mean by that? Let's do an example. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4, plus 3 to the power of 2 is 9. Now in this form, we can add them. It's a lot simpler. I know how to add these two numbers, right? That's 13. Okay. What happens if you have something like this? This is why adding exponents or exponentials becomes important. Let's say you're given 3 to the power of 28 plus 3 to the power of 28. Now how do you add these? If you can't expand it out, it'd take you forever. Well, maybe you need a computer to help you actually do the calculation. So that's why these rules are really helpful. They become very important when you have very large numbers. So let's go over exactly what exponents or exponentials, what is their addition rules. So let's just look at 3 examples and then I'll go over exactly what is the general case. So what do you have to look for to add 2 exponentials together? So let's say you're given 2 to the power of 3 plus 3 to the power of 3. Now, when you're adding exponents, it's very hard to just simplify. There's no way you can simplify these two numbers. You'd have to expand them out and then simplify them. Or you'd have to use a calculator to simplify them. So in this case, there's no way we could do it. There's no way there's no rule that says 2 to the power of 3 plus 3 to the power of 3 is something to the power of 3. So this case, it doesn't work out. Okay, what about this one? So in this case, let's see what happened. So the bases were the same, but the actual powers were not the same. Sorry, my mistake. The bases weren't the same, but the powers were the same. So let's see, so the bases were not the same, so that's why it didn't work. What about this one? Now, the bases are the same, but the powers aren't the same. So we can't, again, in exponential addition, there's no way to simplify this without using a calculator or actually doing the mental math. Okay, so let's review. So this one, bases weren't the same, but the powers were the same. This one, the bases were the same, but the powers weren't the same. Now in this one, we can simplify it. And what's the difference between this one and these two? Well, if you look, the bases are the same, but the power are the same too. And then you can simplify this. We can simplify this by saying 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 3 is 2 of 2 to the power of 3. See, we have 2 of them. You have to treat this like it's its own quantity, its own little box. You have 2 of these quantities. So you're multiplying, you have 2 of them. That's the same thing as saying you have 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 3. 2 of them. Now, so let's see what we learned. We learned that in order to actually add exponentials, you need two things to be true in order to simplify them. In the next couple of videos, we'll do more examples so you actually understand like how to actually do it yourself. So, but the general way of adding exponentials is that you want the bases to be the same. So the bases are the same. And we want the powers to be the same. The powers to be the same. So I could write any number here. And in this example, the bases were 2. And the powers were 3. So anytime you have the bases being the same and the powers being the same, then you can add exponentials and simplify them under those two conditions. The next couple of videos we'll do the addition. We'll do examples.